everybody. This is Dr. Carmen Bryant. Welcome back to Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. I have been doing a series of teaching, and for this series that I'm doing the one on narcissist weapons. So the first one I did was the Power of Persuasion. It was in 3 parts. And so the next weapon I wanted to talk about was, let me think of the name, desensitization. So I want to talk about desensitization. Desensitization is normally used within a clinical or a therapeutic setting. And what desensitization is to desensitize you or eliminate your negative or anxious reaction to something negative, or an anxious reaction to something negative, or something that you know, the fight, flight, or freeze. For example, to desensitize you from something, it decreases your reactivity. It says responsiveness. I say reactivity to something that causes anxiety or fear. For example, snakes. So what happens in a counseling setting when you use the process of desensitization, I've used it before on people that have been with post-traumatic stress, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But what you do is if you have panic attacks and you're fearful and you're definitely afraid of snakes, and you make a decision that I'm tired of having these panic attacks, I'm tired of you know, being anxious and afraid of snakes, you know, what happens is slowly the therapist begins to introduce you to snakes. It could be books, it could be pictures, it could be videos. Then eventually, you know, and this is within time. It takes time. Then, you know, you may go to the zoo, or you go somewhere to the pet store, and you meet there and you look at the snakes, building yourself up where your reaction is decreased. You know, in the process of that, you're being educated as well. Which snakes are poisonous? Where do you find these particular snakes? What to do when you come across a snake? How, if you don't have an action plan, you know, then a lot of times people are anxious. But if you have an action plan to when you come across, you know, a snake, it kind of desensitizes you because it puts you back in power. You know, when you have a plan of action dealing with these negative reactions, then it makes you feel more empowered. So they may introduce the snakes, the pictures, discuss, you know, what you do when you come across the snake, you know, how to handle snake if one gets on you, you know, which ones are poisonous, what to get, what to have in your home if you're in a place that has a lot of snakes. Some places have a lot of snakes, you know, that look for shade, you know, but desensitizing you to a point where they desensitize your reactions to this traumatic event to you, that eventually it gets to a point where you touch a snake, where you put a snake in your hand, where you handle a snake. Some of you guys are getting the heebie-jeebies now, right? Some of you guys are already getting anxious just talking about it. But that is the process of desensitization. Or, for example, those people that are deathly afraid of water. And when you discuss why are you afraid of water, it could be someone has drowned in the past and they're afraid, or watching it, or they're just anxious because they're afraid that they're going to die, they're going to drown. And so the best way to desensitize them is to get them connected with for example, a swim instructor, there we go, a swim instructor, and to let them know that I'm afraid of water. So what they'll do is they'll acclimate you to water, get you in the water, get you in a kiddie pool, get you to sit in a kiddie pool, get you to sit in one of those, like at the YMCA here where I'm at, they have like these little whirlpools. It's probably waist high, you know, sitting in waist high water. Some people are scared of waist high water, getting into the kiddie pool where finally the water comes up to the chest, and then slowly beginning to teach them how to float, you know, how to float, how to swim, you know, but to acclimate them to water that eventually they teach them how to swim. That's why I was always very adamant about teaching my children how to swim, or taking them to swim lessons, so they're not afraid of water. They know what to do when they get in the water, and they're strong swimmers. And so, but that is a part of desensitization. I had a client a long time ago that was a victim of a serial killer in the Atlanta area. That serial killer particularly targeted prostitutes. And so there was a particular style that particular person had, and how he murdered prostitutes. And I think he cut their neck and then cut them, and then he threw them in the forest. And so she was not a victim of death, I mean a fatality, but she encountered this particular serial killer, you know. And what helped her was that she didn't fight. All the other prostitutes fought. She didn't fight. And so he invited her to his home, he fed her, he paid her, and then he dropped her back off. But she was hypersensitive, because of post-traumatic stress. She was hypersensitive to particular types of weather, trees, forest, certain way men look with dreads, African-American men, and then he was a family man on top of that. That just threw her off. But the way that I had to desensitize her within a year to almost 2 years is that in front of my office were bushes. She was even afraid of bushes, well-trimmed bushes. She was afraid of bushes. So her and I would walk out there and just stand in front of the bushes, and that was anxiety-provoking enough. Stand in front of these bushes for a long time until we decided, now I want you to touch the bushes. So every morning before she came into my office, the goal was to meet me out there by the bushes, to touch the bushes. It got to a point where she was able to do it as long as I stood in the doorway, and then it got to a point where when she got out the car, if she was running late, she'd run over, look at me, touch the bushes, and run back in the door, and so she was desensitized where she was able to stand in the bushes, and so just imagine the trauma of some people. Now remember I told you before that anything that's positive, anything that's used for good purposes, good principles, ethics, and morals, flip all that over. And that's how a narcissist uses it against you. So in the case of desensitization, where we use that to help people recover from fears and phobias, for example, just like speaking, anytime I go and do public speaking, believe it or not, I'm always anxious. I'm nervous because of the fact that I want to make sure I give, good information. I want to make sure that I'm giving out the best information I can, and I can answer questions. So that is it's almost like a alert system in your body. It's an alert system. I'm not overly anxious to a point where I'm vomiting or throwing up before I get up there. I just, maybe if it's a big speaking engagement, I might not be able to sleep or get up super early and I'm rehearsing and I'm just nervous. And, sometimes I get really quiet around people. I sit very, very quiet as I'm thinking and concentrating, and then once I start talking and I get into the flow of things, that it comes more easily, that anxiety is gone, and then I can just flow, But for some people, that is an alert system. So there is good and bad fear. Fear what causes panic, the fight, flight, or freeze, panic. You can't operate. This is overwhelming you. It's taking over your life. You need to get to a counselor, and you need to talk to someone in reference to medications and counseling to work on that. But then there is the alert system, that alerts you like, it's a caution sign, like the sign on the car, but it's a alert system within you letting you know danger, it's a possibility of danger. It's not to a point where you just, have a full out blown panic attacks, but, there is an alert system in you that alerts you to danger, to alert you to things that is not right. You give me the creeps or something. It's just, you making me anxious. I don't know what it is about. And it's not you. You're not the one that's anxious. Or it's the feeling. It's that it's almost like that vibe, and that person just, you make me just, everything about you, everything that you're doing, you just making me anxious. Just sit down somewhere. There's too much energy going on right here. That is your alert system. Well, a narcissist, the way that they desensitize you is they desensitize you where you stop listening to your alert system. They desensitize you, and that usually happens within the trauma bonding, the love bombing, and then the trauma bonding, where they take you up to the heights and take you down, take you up to the heights and down. They reward you, and that's that classical conditioning, that operant conditioning, that conditioning that they do. They take you up high, make you feel euphoria, then they drop you, and then they abuse you and dog you out and talk about you. Then they build you back up and make you feel, so you constantly up, down, emotions are up and down, where it's almost like your alert system is going offline. Your alert system is off to a point where they can do things, and they've desensitized you so much that you don't believe that you're in danger anymore. People around you notice that you're in danger, or especially those that are physically abused, and that narcissist gets more violent within time, more violent. They've slowly increased the violence. Slowly, it's like a frog that is on a stove, that the, what is it called? The concept of the frog boiling to death on a stove, where the water's turned up really slow, where the frog doesn't even realize that it's being boiled to death, and by the time, doesn't even jump out, so he doesn't react anymore. So by the time the water's turned up and boiling, the frog is boiled to death. And that's the same thing that narcissist does. They turn up the heat little by little to see what it is that you can handle, what it is that you can, and you're being desensitized to emotionally desensitize to a point where you're accepting things that in the beginning you would have never accepted. Now when you step back and look at it, you're like, oh my gosh, I could have died. I didn't even realize how dangerous the situation was when the people around you recognize how dangerous the situation was. I've had people that were married to law enforcement officers, and they had guns in the house, and what they would do is they would lay the guns out. And they will put the spouse will put the gun back up, stop leaving you. But I had to tell them, I said, you're so desensitized that you don't think that he'll do anything to hurt you. And he's letting you know. He put the gun out there. He's letting you know. And they'll blow it off by saying, he's not capable of doing anything. I say, he's capable of doing anything because he's already put the gun out there. He's already messing with you. He's desensitizing you to make you feel like there is no possibility or no way that he would do that. He's never done anything. Simple or other things like making comments like, I can't imagine you leaving me. If you were to leave me, I would kill you and the kids and burn the whole house down. And then when you're like, what? I can't believe you just said that. Oh, girl, you taking, or dude, you taking this too serious. I'm just trying to express my love to you. No, that's what you check. Check that, because everything that a narcissist says, they mean it. They're deliberate at what they say. They're deliberate at what they're trying to, what's the word I'm looking for? They're deliberate at what they say and the message they're trying to convey. They've just told you, I'm capable of killing. I may have to build myself up to it, but I'm just letting you know. Things like, you know what? I got life insurance on you. They're letting you know. They're giving you the message. And some of you guys are like, they're not capable of doing that. You don't know what a narcissist is capable of doing. People have died at the hands of a narcissist that was sweet, innocent, or whatever, covertly they were narcissists, but whatever they portrayed, and the family members downplayed the fact that, no, they're not capable of doing anything like that. And people have lost their lives, lost their children's. I'll kill you and the kids. I'll kill your kids and make you suffer. Little things that they say, little, you have to pay attention to that. And most of the time when you've been in a relationship with a narcissist, they purposely take the time to desensitize you so that your alert system is off. It's almost like they unplug the alert system so that you are not aware of danger. You have been so emotionally damaged that you can't sense danger anymore. You live in anxiety every day, all day, when you can't distinguish when you are actually in danger or it's just a normal living. Some of you live in anxiety all day, every day. So all day, every day, you get this feeling, so you don't know the difference between the alert or the anxiety that you're living on a consistent basis. And so that's why I tell you guys, everything that a narcissist does, they do it, and they do it on purpose. They're deliberate. They are focused at what they do and how they do it. How do they know? They just watch to see how you react to it. And if it works, they keep doing it. We in the world of psychology, in the world of organization, those of us, we put names to it. We give you the description of what is happening. They don't have names for it. They just do it. And then when we discover and study, oh, this is what this is called. Let's give this a name. This is what is happening. But the thing about being now to be desensitized by watching these videos, you're actually being desensitized to the desensitization process that they use negatively towards you. So as you're getting information, as you're beginning to figure out how to get away, how to defend yourself, how to protect yourself, how to listen to your alert systems, how to listen, how to heal, you have become more sensitive, and your response system has woken up again, if that's the right word, but has awakened. There we go. Your response system has awakened because you're educating yourself. But most people, unless you want to be desensitized from the process of the negative desensitization that they're using, if that makes sense, you have to want it. Some people don't want it. Sometimes you're talking to loved ones, friends, family, and they're trying to talk to you to tell you what is happening, but you're in disbelief. You don't believe it. So you're off. That's why your pain tolerance is so high. That's why you'll accept more pain from this individual. Your pain tolerance is so high because your alert system is off. What do you expect? Your alert system is off. So hopefully this has helped you. This has not been a long video, but this is just another one of the weapons in the arsenal of the narcissist, which is desensitization. So hopefully now it gives you some time to think, so you can process. to figure out what has been happening. Why has this been happening? How, and now you have the opportunity, just like with the snake pictures. Look at the pictures, look at the videos, go by the cage, look at the narcissist inside of the cage, because they're in their own prison, believe it or not. But hopefully this is giving you some insight. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys for all your support. Thank you for even giving us feedback. When you guys come on the public forum, giving us feedback of how this has helped you. Some of you guys have sent me emails to let me know that you've escaped. I've talked to people from a year or two ago, didn't even realize, or didn't recall until they gave me feedback. And I'm so honored that you would share that with me. That gives me the motivation to do what I do. And I'm so appreciative that you trust me enough to listen to what I have to say, because as I was in the military, I go back to get the soldiers that were either held hostage or lost in the woods. And my contribution is coming on here doing coaching. So if you're interested in coaching, you're more than welcome to email me at drcarmenbryant@outlook.com. All my information is underneath the video. You'll find my email address. You'll find my book, Unmasking the Illusion of Perfection, Barnes & Noble, or on Amazon. You can get it digital, so you can get it ebook, you can get it Kindle. And then those of you that are out of country, I've heard a lot about people not being able to get their orders sent through Amazon or Barnes & Nobles to another country. Go on Westbow Press, and they send out to different countries as well. And I thank you guys for your support in reading the book in the first place. Thank you for all the feedback on it. So those that are wanting coaching, I can provide you coaching if you are outside the state of Washington. And those that are inside the state of Washington, you are welcome to contact me for counseling. And if some of you need counseling, not coaching first, you need counseling first to deal with the emotional trauma, the post-traumatic stress. Some of you guys that come to coaching with me, I usually recommend, once I talk to you, I recommend you go to counseling first. You don't need coaching first, and that's out of the state. If you're in the state, you can do counseling, but once you do counseling with me, I cannot provide you coaching, especially in the state of Washington. I will not provide you with coaching. That kind of comes together. I do that kind of together. When you are in the state of Washington, you get everything for the price of one, which is under your insurance company. Outside the state of Washington, I can only provide you with coaching to maneuver you through whatever obstacles that you are trying, but most of you guys need counseling. So those of you, if you can't find a counselor just looking in your area, go to betterhelp.com/Dr. Carmen. Underneath the video, the link, and it is a sponsored link for me. If you click the link, you'll get a 10% discount. And on top of that, if you're having financial difficulties, let them know and they will assist you with grants. And so some of you guys need to get in counseling. These are licensed counselors throughout the nation, and they're licensed in your particular state, because I'm only licensed in Washington. They're licensed in your particular state. And when you vet the counselor, don't bombard them by saying, do you understand narcissist abuse? Some of them do, some of them don't, but ask them, because narcissist abuse is domestic violence. Ask them if they understand domestic violence, psychological abuse, the aftermath of psychological abuse. Ask them if they understand post-traumatic stress or complex post-traumatic stress, parental alienation, and they'll give you tools to help you, and then go seek coaching. So I highly recommend, if you want to heal from this, invest in yourself. You are your greatest investment. You are your greatest investment, and don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. You are your greatest investment. When you buy a house, that is a major investment, a major purchase, and a major investment. You know that when you move out of an apartment, they maintain the apartment themselves. They have maintenance personnel to make sure that they keep that, I was going to say hotel, keep that apartment, functioning. So if you have a drain clogged, maintenance is going to come up and fix that. If something falls apart, the ovens don't work, But when you invest in a home, you are responsible for maintaining that home. You are responsible for coming out of your apartment, because that is a major investment. And if you build in that investment, say you remodel, you put new stuff in there, all that adds to the value of the home. You may have bought a home for $1. Okay, just joking. You may have bought it, we'll just use some simple numbers. You may have bought a home for $100,000, and you invest in that home. You do the bathrooms, do the kitchen, you do the carpets, you do the floors and everything. By the time, it's so much value added to that home that by the time you sell the home, you may have a home that's worth $300,000. Look at all the money that you're getting back. You might get enough money back to go buy your home cash. And that is from the interest, not the interest, but you guys know it, you'll put it up under here. But the money that you've invested in a home has increased the value of the house. So you yourself, you are your greatest investment. You're your greatest investment. And the more you put in yourself, the more valuable you are. You are valuable as it is, but the more you invest yourself, the more valuable you become. And you become so valuable that it takes a very special kind of person to deal with you. So you have to invest in yourself. You know, you invest in them expensive shoes and those designer clothes and that makeup, that MAC makeup that you buy that is not cheap. You know, you invest in a whole lot of things, nice car and everything, or a nice home and everything. Invest in yourself. Invest in yourself if you want to heal and become a better person, a clearer person, whatever person that you're trying to be. But thank you guys so much for following me. Thank you so much. You can find me on Facebook, Psychological Health Consultants and Services, or you can also find me on Overcoming Narcissist Abuse, even on Instagram. I don't work Instagram a lot. You know, you guys give me a moment to kind of work that. I'm trying to set up some new stuff so I can get a camera in. I'm still working on the camera, y'all. But to get some more equipment in so that I can create my own little studio so it'd be easier on the eye, so I can put stuff, you know, back here so it's easier on the eye. It looks nicer. So, but I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you on Sunday live where we can ask questions. I apologize for last week. I was in a hurry, so I did have to rush off the camera. So I really didn't get to talk to you guys like I wanted to. I was going to call in. I was going to let you guys know I wasn't coming on camera, but I said, you know what? You guys were waiting for me, so I didn't want to stop it. So I did come on. I just had to cut my time really short because I had some business that I had to take care of. But I'll be back on Sunday. I don't have anything scheduled for Sunday. So when I mean like business scheduled on Sunday, but I thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for, always supporting me, and you guys go and be great.